up, everyone? Y'all know what day it is. This is Tuesday. Got a great show lined up for you. Listen, Ja Morant is on a beast mode. I think he might have killed somebody last night. We're going to get into that. I got a great guest joining me for today. He got some great things going on with Crown Point, a documentary with about the wrestlers. Listen, Crown Point wrestlers, you don't want to miss it. Listen, we about to get ready to lock and load. Y'all come in with your hot takes and your hot comments, and let's get ready to lock and load. Let's go.
Lock and load, Allen Pass. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. But we lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. But we lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. But we lock and load. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. But we lock and load. Come on.
Welcome to another edition of the Allen Powell Show, Tuesday night. Lot going on. I have a special guest in the building with me tonight, the owner of Local 219, and I think I'm going to say the name right, Alan Miskowski.
My man.
Thank you for coming on such short notice.
Yeah, I apologize if my kids come running through this screen and mess up this entire podcast. That's my bad.
They are doing great right now. I don't even see anybody. I don't hear anything. But you commented on one of my posts, and before we get into the MLB, we're going to talk about Ja Morant, and we're going to talk about your documentary that you got coming up tomorrow at Hobart Art Theater. Is that correct, right?
It is correct. Yeah, and the documentary was directed by Mike Kristen and shot by him. He's also my partner for Local 219. He followed the Crown Point Wrestling team around for about the last 5 weeks, from right before sectionals all the way to their state championship. If you're not familiar with that story, they had only the 10th player ever to win 4 state championships in a row. And then they went on a tear. We talked about Ja Morant going nuclear. They went nuclear at state. The all-time state record for team points was 112 in the history of the state of Indiana, and they scored 178. So it's an amazing team to document that stuff, and we're just pumped to show this into a sold-out place at Hobart Art Theater tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it, man. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we got to get into the breaking news today. MLB games were canceled for the first 2 series. The MLBPA and the owners could not come up with a deal, and so Rob Manfred announced that the 2 first series would be canceled. The first 2 series, they said the White Sox and the Cubs, it's a home and away for them, so they're going to miss the first 2 series. But I made the post that I said, who cares? Who cares? And you said you care. You're a baseball guy. So you played baseball. You was a coach. So, of course, you're a baseball probably fanatic. I'm a baseball fan as well. But I'm just looking at it like, look, MLB plays 162 games. Who cares about 8 of them, 6 to 8 of them? Who cares? Why does 2 weeks or 2 series matter? Why does that matter so much? Explain to me.
Well, I think the first thing is opening day. There's very few days within the length of a baseball season that are really important. And one of those is opening day. It has the attention of the national media. It's a jumping off point for the first quarter of the season until probably the All-Star break. There's going to be a lot of storylines that break through that. Guys who go crazy and hit a ton of home runs in April or May, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, opening day is a celebration of the league. It's a celebration of the players. And being a White Sox fan, these strikes only seem to happen when we're good. So I want, now that we're good, and I want to see every single 162 games. I had tickets to opening day. Just a major disappointment for me on my end.
Okay, so if you had tickets for opening day, all right, does it transfer to when it does happen? Well, I guess not, because it was against a certain team. But whenever they start, that will be opening day, correct?
Well, it's getting tricky because how I got tickets is not from a single game package; it's from a 10 to 20 game package. So
Okay.
I don't know this, and the White Sox don't know yet of how that's going to transfer. So we might just be out those games, especially if it wasn't in our season ticket holders. That like we don't know if we're getting those games, so we don't know if we're going to be able to even go to the true new opening day that exists.
Okay. Okay. So for you, it matters to you. You have season tickets. You might be losing out. But from a general fan just watching on TV, we don't care because it's like whenever the first game is going to be, that's going to be the new opening day. If you were just watching on TV, does that make sense to you?
Well, 162 games is a lot of games.
Yes.
And it pretty much spans roughly 6 months. And so from that side of things, 100%, I think that giving it a shorter season, and I think that's what kind of made the COVID pandemic season so much fun is because baseball mattered from pitch one of that season, right? And so
Right.
that was really cool to see it that compacted. So from that side of things, no big deal. But I think that if we're looking at the lens of it from what it is today, we're hearing that we're losing 2 series. From what I've been hearing and reading on multiple sources, whether it's The Athletic or ESPN.com or whatever it is, it just seems to be they're fighting over a lot of different issues, and they're not seeming to come to any kind of conclusion, especially after really digging in yesterday and still coming out of it with nothing. So it says the first 2 series. I wouldn't be surprised if this leaked into May, and now we're losing an entire month.
Wow. 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 But it seems like they've made progress. And I want to play a little bit of the press conference today because both press conferences were interesting, and it seems like that both of them have different tones. So I want to play a little bit of the press conference, and I want to analyze it a little bit.
Let's do it.
Because they also said that a lot of the progress that was made the last couple of days should have been made long time ago.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest reason why I probably put the blame on the owners more than the players is because it took them so long to get started. They were quick to a lockout, and then they waited all off season by just pretty much twiddling their fingers before they were even putting a deal on the table. And we lost a lot of time that way. And I think the only real deadline that baseball has is opening day. And I think they pushed it to there to really kind of hopefully move the player's hand in being able to kind of get the deal they wanted.
Right. So I'm going to play this Rob Manfred piece. He's talking about
press conference in which I am going to cancel some regular season games. We worked hard to avoid an outcome that's bad for our fans, bad for our players, and bad for our clubs. I want to assure our fans that our failure to reach an agreement was not due to a lack of effort by either party. The players came here for 9 days. They worked hard. They tried to make a deal, and I appreciate their effort. Our committee of club representatives committed to the process. They offered compromise after compromise and hung in past the deadline to make sure that we exhausted every possibility of reaching an agreement before the cancellation of games. So far, the parties have failed to achieve their mutual goal of reaching an agreement. The unfortunate thing, maybe the most unfortunate thing, is that agreement, the one we've offered to our players, offered huge benefits for our fans and for our players. We have listened to the Players Association throughout the process. A primary goal of the Players Association has been to increase pay for younger players. I said in Orlando, and I'll say it again, we agree and share that goal. We offered to raise the minimum salary to $700,000. I'm going
to pause it just for a second because he's about to go down the line about everything that the owners was going to give up. But the thing that irritated me the most, and I don't think I got to it in this press conference, but I heard it on my way home. He said the number one priority was was the fans. And I said, that's a bunch of hogwash. They don't care nothing about the fans. All they care about is the money. When he says something like that, what do you think about that statement? When he says the number one priority was the fans.
I think he's speaking commissioner speak.
Yeah.
I don't think that matters at all. I don't think the fans are in any part of this, unfortunately. I think the key thing that I took out of your clip that you just said right there was he's obviously picked a side with the owners, and he used the pronoun we when he decided to really add all of him a part of delivering this package to the players, and the players decided not to. And this is not anything new for Major League Baseball. They did this in '94 with the strike. They're doing it again now. They have the microphone, they have the leverage, and they're going to make sure that the players are villainized publicly.
Listen, honestly, to me, he did not go as hard as I thought he would go against the players. He made it seem like he made it seem like the players actually made an attempt. We just couldn't come together on a deal, but it wasn't one party over another. In a sense, he didn't really put the emphasis on the players, they just want everything and don't want to give up anything. He didn't do that to me. To me, it was just like two people came together and they couldn't come up with an agreement. Did you get that, or did you think he really was making it seem like it was the players?
I think 100% unequivocally he's on the side of the owners, and I think that what he said there is the subtleties that I think stand out, and those subtleties show that he's picked a side. And so from that perspective, I think that while the players were down there for 9 days and doing what they needed to do, it seems pretty clear that they weren't in a room together with the owners having conversations. The lawyers were.
So I know that he's actually on the owners, but I was just a little shocked that he didn't go even harder on how it was the players' fault we didn't get a deal done. Now, we seen Manfred. Now let's see what Tony Clark, Scherzer, Andrew Miller, and let's see what they had to say as far as a response. Because
Scherzer doesn't play, so I'm excited to see what he said.
He does not play.
No.
So here's Tony Clark.
For our game, today is a sad day. We came to Florida to navigate or to negotiate for a fair collective bargaining agreement. Despite meeting daily while here in Florida, there is still work that needs to be done. We are seeking improvements to our CBA because significant improvements are needed. We've made no mistake about that fact over the course of the last 3 or 4 years based on what we've seen on the field and off the field. It's against that backdrop of growing revenues and record profits for owners in the league that players seek and deserve nothing more than fundamental fairness. Players want to play. We all know that. But the reason we're not playing is simple. A lockout is the ultimate economic weapon. Let me repeat that. A lockout is the ultimate economic weapon. In a $10 billion industry, the owners have made a conscious decision to use this weapon against the greatest asset they have, the players. But the group won't be intimidated. I've seen more unity over the last few years than at any time in our recent history. Our guys care deeply about the game, care deeply about the fans, and care deeply about our player fraternity. And they are focused on improving the rights and benefits for today's generation of player and for the generations to come.
All right, so I'm just gonna stop it right there. To me, you can clearly see that he said the owners. The reason why this didn't get done was the owners. It wasn't two people came together, we can come up with no agreement. No, it was strictly the owners trying to flex their power, canceling games, they're using it as a tool. He talked about how much money, $10 billion, I think he said. Like, what do you think about what he said?
I agree with it 100%. And I think not only what he said, but how he said it. It's like you could tell by his mannerisms, that guy meant what he said, and using the term economic weapon is really telling. That shows that they're playing all the leverage they can. And they know that the players are going to see the negativity of the lockout because they're the face of Major League Baseball. Who's the owner of the Tampa Bay Rays? We don't even know who that guy is.
That's true.
Being in Chicago, so they know the players are going to see the heat of it. And so this is all tact. And unfortunately, the greed at that level. And another thing that doesn't get spoken about too much publicly that I think is really important here is that the players don't have access to the books of ownership. They don't know financially what's going on. So that's when they say record profits, that's total speculation. That's not actually tangible.
Wow.
So that's what they think is happening. And from an owner's perspective, playing devil's advocate, they can look right back at the COVID pandemic year and say, we lost a ton. We got killed. And they're not really doing that because there's no real face of ownership. I think Jerry Reinsdorf's taken on that role publicly in the past. He seems to be pretty quiet right now. But yeah, I mean, this is all, and that's the hard part, is that the Major League Baseball and their executives have found loopholes in the system that are going to make them more profitable. They know playing young players is cheaper. And there's been an influx of young talent in Major League Baseball, unlike any sport. If you're 30 nowadays in Major League Baseball, you're a dinosaur, dude.
Right. And that's what it seemed like. The first thing Rob Manfred said was, the younger players are going to make more money. The minimum is going up by, I think, like $25,000, $25K. And they're trying to get, if they get majority of the young players to side, then I'm in a union, and it seems like they always go after the younger, the more majority, because they know if they can get them, they can get a deal done and they can get what they want. Yeah,
look at the Chris Bryant situation from 2015. Waiting 2 weeks to bring him up so they keep a service year. And that's collectively bargained. The players agreed to that at the time. So there wasn't any foul play. That was just the way the rules were. And so for that, I kind of empathize with executives in Major League Baseball. But it's obvious that they're trying to figure out ways to save as much money as possible because they can't afford guys like Manny Machado and Bryce Harper who are getting 10 years and $250 million. That can't be the norm. It's not like basketball where these guys get paid and there's a salary cap to keep the other teams from the lower end tier guys being able to figure that out,
Right. Well, how do you think this plays out? I know you say you read some things that you think it possibly can go into May. But let me say, before you answer, let me say this. Another reason why I don't care as much is because, one, the season that they played, I think only 60 games?
The season?
Yeah. Was that last year or the year before that?
The year before, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 60 games. And for some people, that was the most exciting season because every game mattered. Every game mattered. And then as a Midwest person, the weather's going to be better. Who wants to go out in cold weather to go watch a baseball game? I want to go when it's warm, not when it's still possibly 30 degrees.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the 60-game season was incredible. I'm not even hating on that. I literally from pitch one, dude, the Sox were in it. They made the playoffs. It was incredible. But yeah, man, I think one thing too that this does is it brings up all of the ghosts of baseball past. For instance, I've heard more conversation about how slow baseball is over the last 48 hours and how much that needs to be improved. And as a baseball guy, dude, I don't need to see anything change. I don't.
I'm with you. And then I think they trying to take out the shift.
Yeah.
Like, I like the shift. Make the players hit the other way. Like,
exactly.
So I don't. And then what do you think about the universal DH?
Love it. I hate National League Baseball.
Really?
Yes.
Listen, if you hit, I like pitchers batting because I feel like it's you have to put some strategy in it. And if a pitcher hits somebody, he can get hit too. At least he can get hit too. Instead of you having to retaliate on another player. No, You go up there and take the hit, and you hit somebody. You go take that bullet that you dealt out. I mean, does that make any sense?
I get it, man. I just like. Do you love watching a sacrifice bunt? Is that like? Do you enjoy that?
I'm okay with it. I'm not
You're
mad
okay
about
with
it. Yeah,
I'd rather see an aging Miguel Cabrera hit one 450 feet.
Listen, for entertainment purposes, the universal DH is the best way to go. With all the other sports blowing you out the water, you need more offense. You need more home runs. I get it, but like I say, the DH, like that's not even really a position. Like that's just, I'm not a big fan of the DH. I'm just gonna be honest, man. And then we grew up playing baseball where if you pitch, you hit. You know what I mean? It wasn't no designated hitter in high school, or I didn't play college ball, but I don't know. Do they have a DH in college?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
When you get to that level, you're essentially either a pitcher or a player or a position player. You're not. It's rare that you see both.
Okay. But and then Shohei Ohtani revolutionized, the position again. But I used to like Dontrelle Willis, Carlos Zambrano, Madison Bumgarner. I mean, majority of them are terrible at hitting, but you have a few that can really rake.
Mad Bum can swing it, dude. But I mean, that's one out of 130 pitchers. Yeah, I'm all for offense, and I mean, I enjoy the small ball component of baseball. I really do. I think that it's a very interesting like tactic that you can play in games. But when it's predictable, I don't think it's as interesting.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, third inning comes around, and the guy's on first base with no outs. The 9-hole is up, and it's the pitcher. He's bunting.
Right.
I mean, there's not much to it. But like when you get in the later innings, the people start sack bunting and squeeze bunting. And bunting for a hit at any point of the game is fun, but it's just so predictable. I feel like it slows the pace down. So yeah, I personally love watching a guy like Shohei Ohtani just go be an animal and be able to do both. It's just so rare,
That's true. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm gonna see. Maybe it'll warm up on me. But
that pandemic year they had a universal DH.
Say that again.
In that pandemic year, they had a universal DH.
I didn't even notice. That's crazy.
Dude. Yeah,
I didn't even notice. That's how fast it went by. It's like I didn't. But so what do you think? When do you think are we going to have baseball, and when are we going to have it?
That's a great question, man. Because right now it's all public warfare. So it's tough to like decipher what that is. Before we got on, I was telling you, I have a buddy of mine who used to play professionally. He was supposed to call me at 7:00. He said he had a lot of thoughts on what's going on. I'd love to hear that perspective.
Right.
And which side he would have taken. But he's down in Florida, and I think he's coaching right now. So he wasn't able to kind of jump on the phone with me. But yeah, I really honestly don't know. I think that as long as the players don't give, this could go into May, maybe longer.
I think the pressure is going to be on. I don't think they're going to let it drag out too much. I really think that a deal is going to get done soon, and we're going to have baseball probably mid-April maybe.
Well, they're getting to the point now where they need a legitimate spring training.
Right. Right.
That's a month. So whenever they start the date it's going to be a month from then, I would think.
I think they're going to get a deal done probably by next week. That's my prediction. By next week, they're going to have a deal. You heard it here from
Friday.
Exclusive. Let's move on. Look, Ja Morant has been on a rampage. He nuked our Bulls. He did something about, I think 46 was his career high. He got against the Bulls. He showed out. He's looking like Derrick Rose did his MVP year, and everybody has been put on notice that Ja Morant is here. But he even did something crazier last night against the San Antonio Spurs. For people who didn't see it, we got some highlights to show you because this guy is different. And let's just see. This is the play that everyone is talking about. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why did he just do that?
Look at this. Parker.
That's so nasty.
As
Look
the
at
kids
this.
say,
Look at the bench.
He caught him by. And then look at this play. Point
This is
four.
crazy. This is crazy.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Guys, can you guys go?
That Ja Morant is doing some of it. 0.4 seconds. 0.4 seconds.
In the air behind the basket.
And he makes it.
Unbelievable.
Listen, for the past, I would say month, I would say DeRozan and Embiid was like front runners for MVP. The last week, Ja Morant is leading the MVP race, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on Ja Morant in the MVP race?
Dude, I have a Ja Morant jersey upstairs, and I should have worn for this segment. It would have been perfect. I think he's the future face of the NBA, barring injury, and I think he's incredible. One of the best young talents that have come out. And when you stopped by the office last Friday, we talked about this a little bit. And
Yes.
I've never seen a season of this kind of dominance without being like a James Harden year of scoring 35 a game where he's getting all this hype, or a Russell Westbrook triple-double year. He's kind of under the radar of that statistically. But, man, does the guy just make 3 or 4 plays a game that just make no sense. Crazy athleticism, crazy size, huge jump. He's got springs in his shoes, and now he's getting a jumper. So I don't know how you stop this dude.
He's improving, and the most important thing to me is he's leading that team. It's like they are following him. He makes everybody play hard, and they haven't even had Dylan Brooks lately. When he comes back, they're going to be a problem. I think they have the I think they can make the conference finals. I don't think they can make the finals this year. I think that they're a little wet behind the ears, a little young in the tooth. It's going to take them at least one more year to make that jump. But I think they can get to the conference finals this year, and I'm excited. The West is going to be exciting to see, as well as the East.
Well, we saw him firsthand against the Bulls. I have the NBA League Pass, so I check in every once in a while in out-of-market games with Memphis. I think the answer to that playoff question is going to be whether or not the Steven Adams pick and roll that he uses against Ja Morant is lethal in these regular season games right now. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays off in playoff basketball when defense gets picked up a couple steps. And then matchups are really going to matter.
Yes. I can't wait to see. I can't wait till the playoffs start, man. The East is going to be ridiculous, but the West, I think Phoenix, Golden State, and Memphis is a wild card. And if Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. come back for Denver, that's going to be interesting to see if they can come back in time and get worked in and what they look like. The West is loaded. This is the most parity in the NBA in a long time.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you. It seems like this year in particularly, for like the last 15 years, it seems like the West was deep and dominant, and who was coming out of the West was probably going to win it. And then this year, it's totally shifted to the East.
Yes.
The East is 10 deep. What are you going to do with that? I mean, that's a tough out, And so, what was the moment that happened?
Man, that's a great question. I think once the whole Ben Simmons, James Harden thing sorted itself out, that was part of it. But Miami is the number 1 seed, and nobody's really talking about them.
They play gritty basketball.
But I think nobody expected Chicago to be this good this fast.
Yep.
And then you got Milwaukee, the defending champs. And like I say, Philly and the Nets is going to be in a play-in game, but nobody want to see them in the first round.
No, dude.
So,
Playoff KD, I would love to avoid.
Yes.
Should have went to the finals last year, 2 inches away from a 3.
Yes.
And it would have been representing the East. It's like you cannot count KD out.
Right. So I think, man, I can't wait for the playoffs to start and to see what Ja Morant does in the playoffs. Real quick, man, can you tell the people what you got going on tomorrow? You got something special going on in Hobart. Tell the people about the documentary you're releasing and how they can get tickets if they want to attend.
Yeah, so my partner, Mike Kristen, who directed and shot this thing, he followed around the Crown Point wrestling team for the last 5 weeks. There is some precedence for it. About 3 months ago, we went to the Andrean football senior night. So if you want to check out that video, it's really cool. Got a ton of love for us on YouTube. And so we've been trying to get into sports more and more. Both of us, our passions are in it. He was a college wrestler. He wrestled in high school. I played baseball in high school. I coached college. So we really care about sports, and we just haven't had a chance to do too much of it. So these are all passion projects. We haven't gotten any money for it. We've had opportunities to sell sponsorships. We've been offered to get paid, but for us, it's all about the love. We just want to be creative as possible. So he literally followed around the Crown Point wrestling team for 5 weeks, and we put together about a 25-minute to 30-minute documentary that's really in the Last Stand-ish kind of vibe. A lot of these guys are going to be moving on. They're seniors, so they do seem to have like a long. There should be set up for success over the next few years. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. They broke a ton of records. They had only the 10th 4-time state champion ever in the state of Indiana. And for people who aren't wrestling fans, this is my first wrestling meet was the state finals. So I'll put myself in your boat. I didn't realize how intense Indiana wrestling is. From what I've been told, there's 3 states in the country that have all class system. So you're not facing someone in 2A. You're not facing someone in 3A. There's not 25 state champions. You're facing against everybody. So you're either the best or you're not, and there's only 3 states. I think it's California and New Jersey that have that system. So that's why we're a beacon in the state for a lot of these guys going Big Ten, going to the Olympics.
Right.
The region represents in wrestling. And so I need to make sure people know that. But yeah, so like we're really excited about it. We released tickets Friday to attend it. Hobart Art Theater. Those guys, Shane and Blake over there, are incredible. They donated the hall to us, the theater. So we didn't have to pay anything for it.
Got to give them a hand clap, man. Got to give them a hand clap real quick.
Yeah, that's so huge for us, So we put it out there. We didn't know what to expect. Over the weekend, I think there was 250 tickets gone already. Every time I refresh, there's more gone. So we're almost at capacity. I think we're about 10 tickets left. If you do want tickets to that and check it out, I think it is unprecedented for this area that there is a documentary about anything, first of all. And then second of all, that it's about a team that's relevant right now. And the team and the players, coaching staff, and they will be there in attendance tomorrow to check it out too. They haven't seen it yet. So it's a first-time view for everybody. So come on out, man. Show some love. If you want tickets, go to Local 219 on Facebook. Check out the Eventbrite link. We have trailers on there. We did release a exclusive first look of the documentary. I think it's about a minute of the documentary yesterday night. So check that stuff out, man. We plan on doing this stuff with all the time. I will get my boy Bo Patton in Maryville. I hope he's listening to this. I will get him in one of these before it's all said and done.
Yes. I look forward to it. I got my ticket, so I'm not going to miss it. I will be in the building looking forward to seeing this great work that y'all put together. I love the trailer. Shout out to y'all for doing something like this in this area. I have not seen a documentary about any team, baseball, basketball, football, wrestling, I have not seen any documentaries made about any teams around this area. So shout out to Local 219, Alan, your team. I look forward to seeing what y'all got going. Hobart Art Theater tomorrow, 6 o'clock, right?
Yep. 6 doors open at 6, and the show will start at 7.
There you go. There you go. So,
and I would love to, one thing I would love to do, Al.
yeah.
I would love, and I've had this idea I founded Local 219 in 2018, so it's been about a 4-year run here. I would love to bring a 30 for 30 to this area. That's my jam. I would love to start talking about all the old teams. I would love to start bringing back that 2000 Maryville basketball team, the early 60s EC basketball state champs. Just anybody we can to like really highlight what this area is about, because this area is, I feel like it's underserved. People don't really appreciate it. And it's our job to make that happen, to make people appreciate what this area represents.
Listen, man, don't say no more, because I think you're dropping some great ideas and we don't want to try to take it. So we're not going to say nothing else about it. You got my mind spinning as we're even talking about it. I think that's a great idea, man. So listen, come out tomorrow, 6 o'clock, Hobart Art Theater, see the documentary dropped on the Crown Point Wrestling team. And look forward to seeing y'all. Listen, we about to get up out of here. Before we do, make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube. If you haven't already, anybody who see this, if you're not subscribed, go to the YouTube, subscribe. Follow, like, and review our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We have merch. You see the merch. If you rock with the Allen Pals and you would like to purchase some merch, we ship long distance. Shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, jackets, all those good things. If you know somebody that has a business would like to advertise on the show, reach out to me. We can make that happen as well.
Do guests get merch? Do guests get merch or no?
You say what?
Do guests get merch?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm in.
We're gonna get you some. We're gonna get you some merch. We're gonna get you some merch. So
let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna get that to you. Before we get up out of here, so my come to church scriptures is the same as last week. Jeremiah 29:11, Proverbs 20:18, and Proverbs 21:5. It talks about planning. I got off to once I heard a message about planning, I started doing it. It was working for me. I kind of slid off a little bit, but these scriptures, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you a hope in the future. That's the prophet Jeremiah talking. He was talking, and it's telling you that even the Lord has plans. The Lord even has plans. So it's on us to make plans. And then this one says plans succeed through good counsel. Don't go to war without wise advice. So if you got plans and you want them to succeed, reach out to somebody that's going to give you some good counsel and some wise advice. That says that your plans will succeed if you reach out to the right people. And then the last one, Proverbs 21:5, good planning and hard work leads to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. That's in a word. So if you work hard and you plan well, that's definitely going to lead to prosperity. That's in the word. So this is something that that I wanted to do for the start of this year, is start planning more, and I wanted God to bless it. I hope that helps you. If you're not a planner, I think it can help you, and it's in scripture. So that's what I got for you. I want to thank Alan Miskowski for joining me, brother. I will see you tomorrow. Cheers to you and your team. We're about to get ready to get up out of here. I will see you next week, same time, same day. And small note, me and Allen Pals, Local 219, Alan Miskowski might have some things cooking. I'm just gonna leave a little nugget out there. All right, we'll see y'all next week. We out of here.
Knock him low, Allen Pals. It's the Allen Pals Show. Yeah. But we not